Hello and welcome to the Captain's Table, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Paul Berserker01 Batman Shelley, your humble host and space bartender here at the AstroPub, and your facilitator here at the Captain's Table. The Captain's Table is, of course, a podcast. We do pretty weekly, almost every week. Sometimes I take breaks from it, but on Saturdays, where I bring together people from all over the Star Citizen universe to talk about Star Citizen. And I forgot to change the names. So, Darissa and the Real KG, welcome back. You've changed since last week.
Hey, man. Yeah,
hey, it's great to be here.
Of course, I am with some regulars here. I've got Mr. Darjanator and Senor Nick.
Hey, it's Nick's with two Y's.
Is it two Y's? There we go.
Also, center justify that, man.
I can't. There's no way to center justify with
OBS. What?
With OBS, no. There's no control over it.
That's rude.
Drag it where you need it. That's how you usually do it. Or arrow keys. I use arrow keys.
Yeah, I've been using the arrow keys as well. I'm going to refresh your cameras as well because there's some weird something going on. There we go. All right. With that all being said, hello. This is also being sponsored. We had some technical issues with this before, and I figured out what the issues were. So this is sort of kind of a last-minute sponsorship from the movie Renfield, which is coming out in theaters on April 14th. It was a movie that I was already interested in seeing. My wife showed me showed the trailer to me a couple months ago, and I'm like, this is fantastic. I want to go see it. So if you see some advertisements pop up, just that's the sponsorship. So, and that's because we're doing this live. So you can.
I can see so many memes coming from that movie.
Yes, 100%. It is a meme machine. So just keep that in mind especially if you're watching this after the fact on YouTube, where we'll watch the trailer in between the sessions as well. All right. So today's topic is going to be wipes and do they hurt Star Citizen or not? But before we get into that, let's have some introductions. Let's start with you, Senor Nick. Who are you? What do you do in Star Citizen, and where can they find you?
Hey, it's Nick. You can find me on Star Citizen Twitch TV/HeyyItsNick with two Y's, not one. And you can see me also playing a lot with a lot of content creators. And now I'm kind of taking a break from Star Citizen, but I did just join an org, SCPD. So I joined the Space Cops, and they're setting up a law system with a law system that follows UEE law, and a whole court system where if players want to interact with that court system, they can come in and actually do an actual trial that's run by actual lawyers. And you can have actual lawyers represent you, and we will follow UEE law as much as we can to a T. And it's going to be entertaining, to say the least. So, yeah, that's what I've been up to.
To say the least, yes. Awesome. Yeah, I've actually mentioned it was mentioned as well by Expat Brat when she came on. She was talking about that as well. So pretty cool. Good to see that. And then we have the Emperor of Uranus, Prince of Pluto himself, Mr. Darjanator. Who are you? What do you do in Star Citizen, and where can they find you?
Hello, I am Darjanator, also known as Darj. In Star Citizen, I am probably one of the loudest people on Reddit that gets to yell at idiots, particularly in situations that we'll be discussing today. But also, I don't stream. I don't really have it in me to stream. I'm not one of those people who can just sit there for like 6 or 8 hours and do the same thing huge respects to Paul and Nick for doing that. It's like, it's not in me. It's not who I am. I do, occasionally pop up on podcasts like this where I drink and be merry. I have recently, for a while, have been working for JRDF. If you know who that is, hello, camera, hello. There we go. If you know who that is, we make we're the only official licensed makers of Star Citizen model ships and stuff like that. I've recently graduated to 3D model maker. I would like to tell you what I'm working on right now, other than it's super exciting, but I have recently been told that the letters N and D in NDA stand for no Darj.
So. You can't say that.
But I can tell you it's very exciting, and we got a lot of great stuff happening now that I am on board. Like, at least we got stuff coming instead of, there has been like over a year of nothing, while the big cheeses at JRDF have been working with other bigger things. So we got kits coming finally.
I will back it up because I am also under similar NDA from JRDF, so I can confirm that there are big things coming. It is fantastic, and I'm looking forward to them myself. I also got to finish my freelancer before I start getting into those new kits that come out.
I am under no NDA, so everything you say coming out of my mouth is complete bullshit.
That's not new though.
There's also two things that I just saw in chat that I would like to address. I am drinking a hazy double IPA from a local brewery that's like 15 kilometers that way, and they have excellent burgers. And as soon as they see me walking through the door, they already know what's up. And there was also another discussion. Oh yeah, Homac is better than Hotas. There's no competition there, right, Nick?
Homac is the greatest. Yeah.
What is the difference between those two? Because especially since we have newer folks who may not know these acronyms.
Homac is hands and mouse and keyboard that I have made up that I'm trying to proliferate. If people who use joystick and throttle and two joysticks get to have their own little
terms,
fancy word for it, like hands on throttle and stick and hand on stick and stick, I'm making hand on mouse and keyboard a thing. So
there we go. That works. Homac.
Yeah.
Instant switch to being able to board and raid ships. Don't
have to worry about it. All right. So. As I said it earlier, today's topic is going to mostly be about wipes and how they affect Star Citizen, and then we'll have a discussion later talking more about taking questions from the chat and such. So if you're watching this on Monday after the fact, make sure that you've hit that like button, make sure you subscribe and hit the little bell icon. All of those things will help spread the word and also let you know when we go live, so you can join this conversation on Saturdays at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern. Would love to have you here with chat, who's hanging out here with us as well.
That was my attempt at trying to do like the bell sound, but it was a bit out of key.
Yes. So we'll start with you, Darsh, since you're the last one to introduce yourself. Let's just go over very basic. We know as of, I think, a couple days ago, that 3.18.1 and 3.18.2 will both have full wipes.
Mm-hmm.
What is your initial reaction to that idea that we're going to see full wipes with 3.18.1 and 3.18.2? I'm
fine with it. I think that even in the little disclaimer that pops up every time you start the Arbor Space Industries launcher, that they say that wipes are possible. It's like, I would like there to not to be wipes. I would like there to be actual persistence and whatever I do in the game to matter. Yes, I would like that, but I'm also realistic in accepting the fact that this is still an alpha, that they're still building the backend. There is actually no other game that uses the same sort of database that Star Citizen is trying to use. The node-based graph that they're called it. It's called graph because in maths there's a thing called graph theory that connects these. Basically, it's like a two-dimensional sort of way of looking at connections between sort of entities. So yeah. It's complicated and it's gonna break, and that is why they have to wipe. I completely understand that. What I would like them to do is enable or create a more robust communications channel. So as soon as they make a decision like this, it goes out to everyone. Not just people who watch ISC, because that's a small percentage. Even a smaller percentage watch SCL. Even a smaller percentage go on Spectrum to read these things. They need to have like communication channel there where they can do these bigger announcements as they have, and just get them in front of the eyes of everyone. That's I've been thinking about this for a while. They kind of going in the right place, in the right direction with the little disclaimer, like I mentioned in the launcher. But that is a wall of text that people just go, yeah, fine, whatever. I just want to play, and they don't read it. people don't read. We discussed this. Gamers
We
don't
know
read.
this.
So they need a big idiot and like one short sentence announcement, and would you like to know more below it, so they can, if they want to, they can read more. But so they have like 3 or 4 words that the ADHD rattled brains of gamers that they still can't get around.
Okay.
That's my biggest gripe right now.
So you're not
you
really
have to go through podcasts to get the information about it,
or watch like
and YouTube videos
board gamer
from other.
or
Exactly, because CIG is so bad at actually getting the pertinent information in front of the people.
Yeah. So you're saying that the issue isn't necessarily that the wipes are going to happen, but that CIG is slow and not really fully committed to a single channel of information to get this information out there.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Just not about the wipes. All the information. They have a nice little sidebar in the launcher, but it's underutilized.
Yeah. Okay.
Like,
yeah, that's a good point. There's a lot of games, for those of you who play other MMOs or even other games similar to Star Citizen or other kind of multiplayer experiences. Any game that has a launcher generally has a little news ticker on the side that will tell you all the information you need. It takes you I usually read them, the first couple of them, whenever I boot up a game with a launcher, just to see what they're talking about, because they often talk about like DLC.
But that is like a side information. It's not like announcements, like a proper announcements that affect everyone. I think that because a lot of people are just going to go on autopilot until they get into the game. And I think this has to be like a big window when you get into the game, like boom, like announcement, big announcement before you start playing.
Even in the main menu of the game, they could add in like news announcements for what's happening with the servers and everything. I think there's a lot of features like that they could easily add in just for a quick notification of, hey, this is what's going on right now. Click this link and we'll take you to the Spectrum post or whatever to read more information on it.
Yeah. Now, but I know why the big announcement in the launcher when you hit launch is as verbose as it is, because legally speaking, they need to include all of that information from the get-go. So they absolve themselves of any responsibility that happens because people ignore it. But it's like oh fuck, it's like 4 paragraphs. I'm not reading this. I'm just gonna click OK and go through it. And then people just don't know what's happening. And there needs to be a simple way of getting people to know what happens.
Okay. Nick, same question to you. What was your initial thoughts on the wipe for 3.18.1 and 3.18.2?
I was personally expecting it to fully wipe, and I was kind of surprised seeing them announce that they're actually going to try to keep a lot of this data into 3.18.1 and 3.18.2. I like with how badly the 3.18 launch went. I was just really concerned with the way they were communicating how they were going to keep this information on this data. Like at first it was like, okay, yeah, we're just going to make sure you keep your UEC and everything. So then everyone was like, okay, well then I'll just prepare, sell things, we'll save up and not. And then it was kind of like all the communication leading up to the wipe announcement was all about, yeah, we're going to do it. We're going to it'll keep your UEC, you'll keep your UEC, you'll keep your UEC, up until like 1 or 2 days before it was just like, actually, no, we're doing a full wipe. And they did do a lot of like asterisks within their communication of being like, we're aiming to not do it, but it's possible.
A lot of weasel words, yeah.
A lot of weasel words to just kind of fit them out, when I think they could have just said nothing. Like absolutely said nothing until they could have just said, we're still, what they could have communicated for people asking what if there is a wipe or not would have been just a simple, we are still in the process of assessing if a wipe is needed or not until a decision is made. I think all these kind of like hoping that it would not wipe, hoping that we could get the UEC, hoping that they're trying to do this, kind of led to a lot of false expectations on the community side of what they could expect when 3.18.1 releases. I think that was just kind of one way they kind of didn't manage the expectations of the community and set those expectations for the community. Outside of that, I don't blame them whatsoever for having to wipe. I mean, the data, as I said earlier, was like very corrupted. There's exploits being used. It's just a bad bunch of data that needs to be wiped and reset. So I'm definitely not going to blame any devs
I'm
there.
reminded of a Spectrum thread a couple of like months ago with the previous wipe was like, and how they were when they were migrating to this entity graph database. For the first time, and it's like, yeah, well, why don't you guys just use, the SQL database? That's like the standard that everybody uses. It's proven to work. It's like, no, consider with this much information that there is in the database for Star Citizen, an SQL database is going to be orders of magnitude too slow. That's why graphs exist, because they are so much faster. There was a video made. What was it? Matt stand up. He was trying to do. Matt Parker was trying to do like a problem, and he tried to do. Like something to do with Wordle, like five letter word math problem, and he wrote a completely standard program with normal database search queries and everything to figure out, and it took him a couple of weeks for his computer to churn through all the information that was there, and then he put out a challenge to his viewers to come up with a program that would do the same task with the same sort of knowledge base, the word base, and get to the same result. And a person that used graph theory in his program got it down to a couple of milliseconds. Yes, milliseconds, not days or weeks.
Was that the Tom Scott video? I think I seen that.
Yeah.
Matt Parker, stand-up maths.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, that is the sort of difference we're talking about when it comes to regular, word databases. And I have a big bug on my wall. I'm gonna have to deal with that after then. So
okay.
That's why I'm looking to the left right now, because it's huge. And graph theory. That is the reason why they went through it, and the reason that the only ones there, it is there's no one to learn from. They have to make the mistakes. They have to learn, and they're gonna break it, and we're gonna break it, and they're gonna have to wipe it, because some of the stuff that breaks it is just gonna be fucking hell. It's a big bug. Speaking of big bugs, it's just gonna be that bad that they need to do a complete wipe and create a new version of the graph database to handle the game. I'm just gonna take a photo of this.
Okay, so Darj, this is not the first time a murder hornet has shown up at Darj's window trying to take care of. So, holy!
Wow!
I know. I think I know what that
Kill
is.
that with fire?
No.
Immediately.
I think that's a house scorpion.
That's a centipede.
That's a centipede. Yeah,
is it a centipede? Okay, because the legs are a little long. That's the reason why I thought it might be a house scorpion. House scorpions are they hunt bugs, other bugs like roaches and stuff.
Yeah, they hunt bugs. Yeah. I just don't like them.
Yes,
I've gotten to grips with spiders, because spiders are good. Spiders eat other bugs. But this thing, fucking hell, man.
Spiders are chill. They just chill there. They don't move. They don't go
spider
chasing
bros are
things. Fine. They just hang out. Like, I'm cool with spiders. Like,
that's we can't wait until y'all crawl into the Star Citizen caves in 2 years when they have all their creepy collies they want.
Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait to have
creepy
hear
collies. The little along the walls, and you're just like chitters and like little biological noises.
Chitter, crawl.
Look up, you see something like that, but 4 times the size, crawling on the ceiling, looking down at you.
Okay,
It drops down on
it's
you.
bigger here than it is in real life, but it's like 2 inches long.
Jeez.
Still big.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, go, Nick. I'm gonna.
So Nick, I was going to say, overall though, let's go back into the actual discussion itself. Let's talk about wipes in general, because one of the things I've seen from people is that there's a lot of people who seem to be very turned off by wipes, because a lot of the folks, and CIG's even said this, or Chris Roberts' Blood of the Chairman even kind of mentioned this, that most of the folks who've been playing Star Citizen have gotten into it over the last year or the last 3 years. You get a huge amount, like almost half of the players we have who've started playing Star Citizen are from the last 3 years of the game. So for people who don't understand, like Star Citizen used to wipe every patch. Like they used to wipe every single patch. So we've recently had an 18-month stretch without any wipes, and then last one was about 12 months when 3.18 went out. So patches have become
a wipe every patch again.
Yes. So the wipes have been less frequent. So the question becomes, does wiping, does the Star Citizen having to wipe, will this affect the community? And how do you think it will affect the community? Nick, what are your thoughts?
Overall, I don't think it will really affect the community that much. I think it will just kind of, I think when wipes happen, it'll just kind of put a lot of the player base into like a hibernation mode where like they're just going to wait and see when the patch comes out versus get hyped and excited for it. I mean, right now I've personally gone into like a wait and see mode for myself, just to be like, well, maybe I'll just wait and play 3.18.2, or maybe I'll even just wait till 3.19 because that's right around the corner when 3.18.2 comes out.
And it's a good thing you got another game to play right now.
Everspace 2. I'm glad Everspace 2 came out to scratch my itch for a space game while this is all happening. I'm actually really thankful for that.
This is like I would so much like for Star Citizen to be this way, but unfortunately, if you want your gameplay to matter, if you want progress to matter, Star Citizen is not in a situation for that right now. Go play other games. Everspace 2 came out. It's fantastic. I got to a level 11, got to the second star system right now. Today, it's really good. Go play No Man's Sky. Even fucking play Go Elite Dangerous. Those are games that are out, that they will respect your progress. They will respect your persistence. Star Citizen right now is unfortunately back to it's a fucking alpha.
Okay. Nick, did you have more to add to the?
Sorry,
if you wanted to, you're good. I was about to cut you off and be save it for your time there, Darsh. We'll get to you shortly. But
I will say a lot of the new players, I feel like currently the wipes right now aren't really what's really negatively affecting the game. I think it's a combination of the way 3.18 launched, where people can't log in for a month, and in combination with that, it's just kind of shoving like a nail, not into it, but it's just kind of digging a dagger into you when you just want to play the game as the game.
Kicking you while you're down.
The game's kind of just kicking you while you're down, where it's just like everything you just did, even the players who were dedicated and were actually grinding for this month and just playing the game as a game, and when they could, your progress is now wiped, and I can see how just demotivating it is for people. It's not a negative, it's just demotivating, and it brings down morale. And I feel like CIG just needs to communicate around wipes, not in a more positive way, but in a more direct, clear way, and not kind of tiptoe around of hurting people's feelings around you're going to lose your data because we need to wipe it for a clear data set.
Okay. Darsh.
That's what I said from the start. Yeah.
So do you think this will hurt Star Citizen? Do you think this will hurt the community? No, I'm not even talking about the game. I'm talking about the Star Citizen like as a product. I'm talking about the community itself. Will the wipes hurt the community?
Unfortunately, I think so, but that is primarily because of how complacent everyone's got with the lack of wipes up until now. But yeah, a more clear way of communicating that wipes are possible, and wipes not that are possible, wipes will happen. The 318.2 wipe is coming is not going to be the last one. 319 probably won't come, but you can probably bet your ass that 4.0 with Pyro with server meshing is going to have a wipe.
Okay.
And yeah, as Cupan says, CIG is promoting the game as if it has evolved away from the it's just an alpha stage, even though it hasn't. When they make such huge changes to the way the entire backend database works, when they make such huge changes in terms of rendering with Vulkan, it's like when they are actively tearing down the foundation and building it anew.
Yeah, CIG has been promoting 318 patch on YouTube with video ads for the past month straight. And even if the state 318 is in, they've still kept their ads up and running. They've never pulled the ads being like, maybe we should wait until we fixed and correct this to continue this ads. They just stayed the course and hasn't done anything to like kind of correct or address it. I feel like the marketing is just like,
they do have to get new
why?
people in. They do have to get new people in. They do have to get new money in. It's like, and that's advertising is the only way that is the bigger way that even though our little podcast is very good at broadcasting the good word that is Star Citizen, it's only preaching to the choir. There aren't many, if any, new people watching this show as their first foray into what Star Citizen is.
If it is, make sure that you write down in the comments below, this is the first time you've seen a Star Citizen video, because that would be fantastic and very weird.
That would be awesome to see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
it's like I'm sure they have calculated that if they advertise for a broken patch, they will get more money in than if they don't advertise at all.
Okay.
And at the end of the day, it is a game that needs funding.
Yeah. So the question is, do you think there is a way that CIG could both communicate that the game will have wipes and it will be broken sometimes, while also advertising that it exists and tries to attract new attention? Do you think there's a middle way between these two? I'll start with you on that question,
No.
Darsh. No?
No. You don't advertise what's bad about your game.
Okay. So there's no way to let
when you
someone know
advertise
in the advertisement that like there's
in
no way you
in
think
the advertisement, maybe a disclaimer at the very end in small text, just so you can get the word out. But the big, shiny, bombastic thing about the game has to be all the good stuff. Because if you mention all the bad, not all the bad stuff, but some of the bad stuff, so it's even the most pertinent bad stuff in your trailer, it's gonna turn more people away. It's underhanded. I get it.
Okay.
But how many people are also going to go to the game, try it for the first time, and then not want to come back from the experience they've had? I mean, is it worth the $40? Is it worth the $40 if that person's going to go play it and then turn around and tell all their friends to not buy the game because it's trash and kind of like a dumpster fire right now? Like, it's like you got to think about yes, the money is their bottom line, but they also need to consider their reputation as a game developer to the larger audience.
Yeah, because
that's why
it's important to
a good middle ground. Sorry,
I'll say that it's important for people to remember that I've heard a lot of people, make jokes and quips and other accusations that Star Citizen is entirely run by its marketing department, because a lot of games have a lot of influential marketing in their for the whole thing. Based off of my experience, and you can believe me or not, people who I know who work at CIG have said that marketing does not have the power that people think it does. But at the same time, marketing is still pushing out an idea. But marketing can't make you buy anything. Marketing is not designed as like a blah, 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 all sorts of things. It's not some sort of this mystical mind control device that can get people to buy the game. The only thing that can get people to buy the game is the game itself, or word of mouth or other things like that. But the question becomes: is CIG wasting money? Are they wasting money by promoting Star Citizen in the state it's in, by taking out ads, because it's like, while the ads aren't expensive on YouTube, it still costs them money to run those ads.
No. It's still money. Us as backers need to consider, like, that's what our money is going to. Even though if it's a small portion, a portion of our money is going to paying for ads for a patch that is not playable for a large majority or for a portion of people.
Okay. You said the words. Large majority. Do we know the actual number, percentage-wise, of people who can't get into the game?
We don't.
Because
No.
the way I've experienced it from listening to the community and reading about it on both on Reddit and on Spectrum is that the biggest issue is the amount of junk that you have in your hangar tied to your account. And I mean junk as in unsanitized database entries, not like the actual content of what you have, because everything about Star Citizen is it's like the more stuff that you have tied to your account, the easier it is for your game to break when you log in.
Mhm.
So is it only primarily the long-standing backers that have huge huge amounts of stuff in their hangars from subscription stuff getting every month, and from Kickstarter rewards back in the day, and stuff like that? But like, on the other hand, I've been in since September 13 or 14, something like that, and I got in the game fine. So like,
Mhm.
we don't know what the percentage of people that are afflicted by this is, because every time something like this happens, it is the loud minority that is heard.
Mm.
We just don't know how small that minority is. It could
is
be as small as less than 1% of the people.
It is important to point out that the people who can't get in will tell you they can't get in. The people who can get in won't tell you they can't get in, because they won't even counter it because they're playing the game. So there is that aspect as well.
They've given no numbers on the statistics on what's happening. All they've really stated is Bearded CIG kind of just stated, it's like, the numbers are going down with the fixes we're doing, but we're not saying numbers.
Mm-hmm.
So you asked before about a middle ground. I think that, like, the ad for Star Citizen, it should be all good, but as soon as you get into the game, and this goes back to my previous point, it should be like, the game should go like, yo, listen, shit's bad right now. Like, we know what we promised, and here's the dream. Like, we have the dream, but shit's broken right now. So bear with us while we try and fix it. We will get it fixed, and things will be good again.
Yeah.
But they need to have like a robust way of telling people that shit's bad right now.
Okay.
There's also one thing that could also help that is on the launcher having a server status icon and link on the launcher itself.
Yeah.
So you can actually a mini version of the status page.
Like a mini version of it where you could just see, like, the average color is server status, and an actual link to the server status page right on the launcher. Yeah. And it's just like, just having that so you can open the launcher, see what the server status is like before you even click play. Like, that would be another great thing that they could do to give it so that players who
like, because the status page, status.robertspaceindustriescom, by the way, because it's like, I think like 12 people know about it or something like that. That is too buried in all the minutia of what Star Citizen is trying to be, to actually make it up to the surface of information that is very vital for people to know about.
Yeah. Okay. Nick, I'll ask you the same question. Is there a way that CIG could explain the situation with Star Citizen?
I think without
also advertising.
I think all the ideas, I mean, they're not false advertising in a way that the game that they made has the content that they are saying it has. Just the servers themselves aren't allowing you to access them. That's a completely separate issue of what the advertisement is saying and what the current situation is like, and they have no control of what the current situation is like. They kind of have control over the advertising, but again, there's like no communication between the two, and you can't plan for things to go terribly wrong. What they can do in the future, though, is I think all the points we've kind of discussed is, have it so that this information is more readily available, adding like the server status onto the launcher so that you can see what the servers are like, having additional, warnings or announcements in the launcher or inside the game menu, just to be like, hey, this is what things are like, look at this status or this announcement. They have announcements on Spectrum and chats, but it's all over the place on which chat you need to get into to see the announcement, and it's not like unified at all. And also they do announcements hidden within replies on Spectrum and Reddit, and they could just do a lot better job of having a direct line unified way of saying this is everything we said, like a little feed of actual announcements, Reddit posts, everything, like an RSS feed of just like, we announced it here, but here's a whole thread of where we've all announced it. I mean,
if you want that sort of feed, you could check out the AstroPub Discord, and we have like a Star Citizen announcement channel for that.
That's true,
sort of
but the problem about that is
that is community created, and it is very specifically.
Yep.
It needs to be visible to everyone. Yes.
Yeah. It needs to be visible to all users, all backers, anyone who's actually launching into the game or just going on to say like the community hub or Spectrum. There need to have a unified way for these announcements to be seen immediately, and especially to people getting into the game and opening the launcher for the first time.
I'll add to that in the sense that I think that's one of the biggest things that CIG has fallen down on, and it may be because of lack of resources, it may be because of lack of interest from management, or just again lack of bandwidth, not enough people to do it. But it's definitely one of those things that they almost certainly need to
address.
Yeah. It's an issue that they need to address for that they put away from them, in terms of like there's just 17 different ways of getting information, and all those information are in separate different locations, and there's no one way. So it means, like, for instance, a great example of this is that when 3.18 launched, a lot of people were complaining that this was terrible, and why didn't they even let us know if they really knew this was going to be so much of a problem? Why didn't they tell us? And a lot of people was like, they did on Spectrum, and it was obvious that the person who was making the comment was never on Spectrum and didn't know that they had made this announcement.
Yeah. And so CIG is trying to push Spectrum to be their be all and end all, but it is removed from the game.
Yeah,
it is right now. Even though they want it to be completely seamless and integrated, it is right now, and it has been for years, ever since they started it, has been its own separate entity from the game. And most people play the game. They don't go on Spectrum. They don't go on Reddit. They don't go on the comms link. I have that tab open 24/7. By the way, it is best source of information.
Yeah.
But
not people know that.
I have not a lot of people. Not everybody knows this. Yes. But all the backers, all the active backers at least, do play the game. So there has to be a proper information feed in the game, in the menu, or when you launch the game, or wherever, somewhere that's like big in your face, that tells you the current status, the current new messages pertinent to, like, not pertinent, but like directly pertinent to the gameplay.
Game. And I will say that person who I'm talking about was on Reddit when they were talking about that, and people corrected them and said they did on Spectrum. But that person probably only went to Reddit after they tried. They saw that 3.18 went live. Someone told them that 3.18 went live. Maybe they saw the trailer. Maybe they got an ad for it, and they'd been waiting for it, and so they popped on and played it, and they couldn't even get in and were angry about it. So I can definitely see the thoroughfare.
I mean, I've had the exact same situation happen directly to me when it was about 3.1 and 3.2 like release window schedules, because CIG said one thing on it, and I was moderating a chat, and I thought I was correcting someone on false information, but like, no, that's not how it is. This is how CIG communicated it. Like, oh no, I was actually wrong, because CIG did later announce it in a announcement on a chat in the testing chat, and it's just like I was on Spectrum like crazy, and I didn't even see that.
And this is what actually gave credence to the recent April Fool's thing, where somebody faked a post in Spectrum in chat by Xylo, who's saying that like they're releasing the the Polaris recently, because that is apparently an avenue of information that is as valid as everything else. Because fuck off, CIG, get your shit together. Also,
when has CIG ever announced a ship on Spectrum?
Hey,
they have.
If they can announce huge patch information on Spectrum, why not ships?
Well, to tie this back into the wipe discussion, how many people do you think are going to be affected by this wipe and not even know? There may be people who are playing the game right now who don't know there's going to be a wipe for 3.18.1 and .2.
How many people might be away for work right now for a few weeks, come back when 3.18.1 or 3.18.2 is out and realize, oh, everything's been wiped, and they're like, well, I thought I had some stuff. I thought only the UEC was going to be kept. I'm back at square zero. What's going on?
Yeah.
And then they'll go to Spectrum and realize, oh.
So
yeah, and not everybody is also subscribed to the newsletter.
Nope. Or reads the newsletter, because not everyone reads in Star Citizen. I know that because I do an entire series of me reading the monthly reports, and it's one of my best series. Honestly, I get so many people watching it and listening to it because they don't have the time.
I'm one
to
of those
read.
people.
Yeah,
even though I actually do both. I read it and then I like listen to a YouTuber, I pluck a YouTube video and like give them my view time.
Also, I just realized something that completely negates my suggestion, to have like an avenue information in the game, because 3.18 was one of those patches where a lot of people actually just couldn't get into the game.
Yeah.
So,
but they could get access to
be in the launcher. It would have to be in the launcher.
Yeah. It needs, and that's not unheard of. And I know that CIG has issues with resources, and it's like, well, it's a nice to have. Well, maybe CIG, it's no longer a nice to have. Maybe it's a need to have, because times have changed. And that's the thing that, may be a thing. Just now you got to invest more resources into this, because it's the only way to ensure that you limit the fires and also ensure that people know. Because it's just, if you're trying to get players to know and play your game, they got to know when to play your game. If they pop up in the launcher and there's a giant warning, servers are down, they'll go, cool, and they'll just pop off and go to somewhere else instead of trying to pound onto the servers to try to get in and never get in. So, I think that's a good discussion on the wipes in general. And I think we're going to wrap this up here, and we'll move on to the questions and answers. If you did enjoy this, make sure that you check out JRDF. It's at jrdf.sc, or is it jrdf.co?
That is correct, yeah.
jrdf.sc.
No, it is SC. We spent a lot of money on the fucking Seychelles domain.
So, and then...
But it is SC.
And then check out twitch.tv/HeyyItsNick, Hey with 2 Y's. And I think you do a little bit of YouTube, right? But mostly Twitch.
A little bit of YouTube, a little bit of TikTok. I touch on that a little bit here and there, but mostly Twitch.
Yeah, check it out.
Darcy hates TikTok. It's hilarious.
And I'm live on Twitch here and on YouTube for this recording on Saturdays at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern. Come join us live and join yourself in the chat. Remember, if you enjoyed this, make sure you hit that like button. It really does help spread the word, because it tells YouTube that you enjoyed it, and it will recommend it to other people who have similar likes to you. And if you hit the subscribe button and the little bell icon, not only will you know when these videos come out, but you will also be notified the moment these streams go live. So make sure you check that out as well. And like I say every time, hope to see you someday in the black.